Hey Flosstube, it's me, Kerry in Stitches. Welcome to my channel. It's 28th of September, not the 28th of October as I've just said on my previous take. It's been one of those mornings. I recorded my first video attempt this morning and decided it was far too long, didn't like it, was really unhappy with it, deleted it. Did my second video. Thought, this is going much better. Until I looked up and thought, where's that bit come on the side of the screen? I record off my phone. Video stopped. So I don't know when it stopped. Turns out I was out of memory on my phone. So I've just deleted 144 photographs, several very small videos. All the previous, I'd already deleted the previous takes. There's been a few this morning. I've been sat here since 10 o'clock this morning. It's now 12, so I'm not doing very well. It started off with a lovely, lovely, beautiful, bright blue sky day. It's gone a bit cloudy now, and I'm supposed to be going to meet my friend for a coffee shortly. So I'm determined to fly through this this time with a few more ums, though. Coffee this morning is brought to you by Gromit and Shaun the Sheep. My favourite mug, this one. I'm going to be drinking a lot of coffee through this because I've got such a dry mouth because I've been talking to myself all morning. Right, the cough is gone, pretty much, so thank you to all those who stuck with me through my first video with the coughing. I was so excited to make it. It was kind of like, can I wait another 2 weeks before my cough goes before I do another video? Before I do my first video? No, I can't, so sorry, you got me as I was. Today I'm very tired. I stayed up last night watching McKenna and Bendy Stitchy Michelle shop at Stitcher's Paradise, and I now have a scribbled list of new charts from my wish list. On top of the list is Ink Circle's Monkey Wrench, for the simple reason that it's a Foo Fighters song and we love Foo Fighters in our house. And it's a really nice design. It's Quaker style. It's lovely. I really like Quakers, so just got to find somebody who does it in the UK because I don't really want to. It's a $10 chart and I don't really want to end up having to spend £25 on it by the time I've ended up paying for shipping and customs fees and Royal Mail handling fees. It's about £8 apparently for just getting it through customs, which kind of on top of a customs charge, which I don't think there will be one. I don't really know how it works, so I'm loath to kind of go down that. If I can find a UK supplier, I'd rather spend £12 on a UK chart that from a UK supplier than go down that rabbit. But I haven't found anybody yet, so I'm going to be sending a few emails round to people who I know stock them just to see whether anybody does special orders for charts. So we'll see. Anywho, that was a bit of a tangent. Thank you to all those who subscribed to me. In the midst of trying to empty my phone so I could have some recording memory, found that I have another 2 subscribers. So I think I'm like in the 32, 33, 34 kind of subscribers, which is really exciting. I know some of you have thousands, but actually that's really exciting for me for 2 weeks of floss tubing. Right, so thank you to all those who have commented and subscribed and watched. I got my cat shout out from Kay's Cross Stitch. That's exciting, isn't it? You kind of feel like you made it if you become a Floobie for her. So thank you very much, Cara, for your shout out. I was over the moon with that, and the whole family watched your video. So yeah, that was really quite kind of like moment. Oh, and Bendy Stitch Michelle, my husband, who I stopped watching yours and McKenna's shopping last night when my husband came to bed because it was sort of 1:30 in the morning here, and obviously I said I was going good night, and he thought it was quite funny that you said good night back. So I think he feels I've kind of joined some weird world, but here I am. So just back from my first video, I'm doing Stitch Moustache this half of the year. It's going pretty well actually. I'm weighing credit. I think by end of September I think I'm about £100 up, so purely on the finishes. Yay, go me. But I'll take a chunk out of that when I go to the big NEC stitching show in November, so exciting. So Stitchy stuff. I've got a postcard pal. She's lovely. She's in Canada, and she sent me this card for doing my first Flosstube video. So that was really, really sweet of her. So thank you very much. And watch the postie next week because I'm sending you something today. Post office is on the errands list for later. Right. Okay, I've done that. Big list. Went into a lot more detail in my notes this time because I kind of felt that I missed saying things last time. So, on to the whips. Or should I say on to the finishes first. Finishes, so this was Drawn Thread. Can't hold it. Drawn Thread, Winter Keeper. It's one of their free charts off the website, and I finished it. I'd done most of it last time, so I'd been on a bit of a smalls kick, and this is the last of the keepers that I'm going to stitch. I've got a couple more printed out, and I've just realised that in my handbag I have a travel project because I use public transport pretty much daily, even though it's only a short journey. I've started there, I think it's called First Snow, which is like a tall tree. It's only a small one, but yeah, that's in my bag, and I'm not going to go and get it, so because I've stitched maybe 50 stitches on it, it's not much. I only get to do 10 minutes a day on it. I did have a couple of the other keepers, so Pumpkin Keeper with its braid, stitched in that orientation, and then you do a back stitch square, and then you can whip stitch it shut like that. That's gone into my autumn display already. This is Pearls and Rosebuds. This is just stitched, finished off as 2 squares, whip stitched together. This one, the orientation in the picture was that your cord, thread, ribbon came out from here, but all of the other keepers are sort of orientated that way, diamond, so I did the same just because I wanted to sort of keep them uniform looking like they are. I got a bit fed up with doing all of the braids because they do take time to sit and do them, so I kind of just went, ribbon from my local haberdashery. I'm quite fortunate that despite not having an LNS locally, other than pretty poor Hobbycraft about 25 minutes away, I have 3 good fabric shops, 2 sort of proper quilting shops, one does sell sewing machines as well, and a third that's more of a dressmaking, but she does have lots of cotton. She does the haberdashery side, and she has lots of cotton which I pick up for my quilts, so that's good. So still on a smalls kick, I'd been talking to Michelle Bendy Stitchy about blackwork. She just finished an ATC blackwork one and really enjoyed doing it, so I said, hey, I've got a load of duplicate charts people have given me because they've destashed their magazines. Would you like them? She said, yes please, send me. I showed her, yeah. We sorted something out. So one of them is this one, Blackwork Design Library from World of Cross Stitch 164. So it's about 5 years old. It's quite an old one. It might be even older than that, to be honest. Anyway, it's a really lovely booklet. I've stitched quite a lot of the designs out of this one. Well, my own copy of it, because I've kept my own magazine. This is, as I said, a duplicate. But I looked at it and realised how much I really enjoyed stitching blackwork and how much I love the designs in here. They're by Liz Almond of Blackwork Journey, so somebody with pretty good blackwork pedigree, to be honest. There are 44 designs. I've probably stitched 12 of them, give or take. It's not bad for a quarter, but they're really pretty. So, sorry, small side note. So I stitched a couple of bits of no, I stitched this one on some fabric that my friend Steph dyed or possibly fabric painted for me. It's a 28 count something or other, and she's done something there, so there we go. You can see there's some beads on it as well, little bees, more beads. yeah, so that's that one. It's got a beaded edge, and just on the back it's just that, because I loved the fabric part of it. I deliberately picked that kind of section of the fabric that she painted so I could use that. Yeah, so that's that one. And then I did another piece of Steph's fabric is this one. So this was this actually was hearts. It's kind of had swirly kind of hearts kind of. But I'm just going to that one. That's on the back. Not so many beads on the actual design, but some lovely crystally beads around the edge. They're all Mill Hill beads. No idea what the names are. Pretty, and black. There we go. So I showed you last time some scissor fobs that I'd made, and I kind of had teeny bits of fabric left over, sort of a couple of inches square, really small piece of fabric. So I made a biscotti, which is really small. Oh, really small. No, oh, can't turn it around. There we go. And there's the back of it. Those measure just over 1 centimetre. So there's this one, all pinks and purples and blacks, and greens and purples and blacks, and there's that one. And they all sort of match the designs of the biscorner, so we have matching. Oh, I can't give it to matching. Anyway, so made those. Love making scissor fobs. Love beads. And another necklace I've made myself. So that's those. What's next? Oh, let's move that out of the way. What else have I been stitching? So from small I went large, and I went to the cityscape that I said I was starting last time and did that bit. The actual house has got lots of back stitching in it as well, which made it really slow. I looked at it and thought, oh, I'm going to knock these out really quickly. I'll just grab a picture off the frame. This is the chart. This isn't the chart, this is the picture of the chart. I'm assuming I'm just scrolling along nicely. There we go. So that's the page I'm stitching. I think it's got both pink. Okay, I think it's, which is the middle page of the chart. So that's what I'm working on over the coming week. That's my train of thought. I forgot where I'm going with this. So I didn't stitch about anywhere near as quickly as I thought it was going to, which is kind of from being super excited, I kind of gone about it. So I did something else, and I'm going to go back to that later on, probably beginning of next week. So I admit I'm a bit of a FOMO kind of person, fear of missing out. So I jumped on the Santa Sundays Instagram hashtag bandwagon and pulled out this, which I showed you last time. And last time all I'd stitched was a little tiny bit at the bottom of the blue house. So that's the top of the chart. So this is where I'm at. Let's pull it back a bit. There we go. So 2 houses complete, except for a couple of beads and the swirly smoky chimney thing at the top. And then I'm just working on the brown one today. Well, over the next few days. It's coming on pretty well. I'm not sure about the fabric. It's probably a 28 count. Well, it's definitely linen. It's probably 28 count. It was in a Sew It All grab bag I picked up earlier this year. I still got loads left of it as well. I'm a bit kind of about the fabric. It makes my hands itch. I do suffer from, I don't get eczema or anything, but sensitive skin, so it's been making my hand, when I've been holding it, because I've been stitching in hand, making my hands itch there, which has been a bit uncomfortable. But I'm loving the design. I didn't stitch, as you can see, I didn't stitch them individually. I wanted to stitch all of them. I knew I had the fabric for it. And because of the colours of the houses, it meant that, because you got to pick, cross stitch said, these are 3 designs, pick the one you like. And I'm okay. So I gave you actually quite a lot of floss, and this is still what I have left going, and with very little left to do. So I'm quite impressed by the kit, to be honest, for a cover kit from a magazine. Sometimes they're pretty ropey. Although I do think the cross-stitch ones have improved a lot over the last few years. I'm guessing this is probably last Christmas or the Christmas before. But what one thing did make me laugh is I take working copies of all the charts I use, just because I don't want to have a whole magazine out. There it is. Okay, so you've got here, who's the designer? It's a Maria Diaz design, and they reckon it's going to take you 2 hours to do each one. I've done the math, I'm not a quick stitcher. 350 stitches, give or take, half a dozen French knots, back stitching in 1 and 2 strands depending on where it's for, and it's quite a bit around the windows, the roof, the smoke. There's a fair bit of back stitching as well. It's 2 hours is not enough time to do that, especially when you have to contend with French knots. So I know their model stitches are probably really quick, but I kind of don't like that thing, because it makes me realise how slow I am. And it's not about the speed, it's about the enjoyment, I know. But I'd be really put off, especially stitching large designs. I think the estimated time for the cityscape is 40 hours. It's going to be a lot longer than that for me. That tiny bit there is 3 nights stitching, so that's probably 8 hours stitching. And I realised I didn't tell you anything about the fabric or the thread, despite writing it down, because I knew I missed that off my last lot of Flosstube. Cityscape. It's by Zweigart. It was from Wax 251. It's on pale blue 25 count Lugana, which is the recommended fabric by Zweigart too. Am I saying that right? Zweigart? I'm not sure. With all the called for DMC. I'm going to make a couple of changes to the chart. I want to make the one car like ours, and I'm going to change a couple of hot air balloons to give them a bit more colour rather than the greys. Should have said all that before I started going on about my little houses. Keen to get through this, I think, today. I'm going to meet my friend for coffee shortly at the local garden centre, and see what they've got nice in there. They have some really lovely displays and things, so I'll have a little look and see what they've got nice. So, okay, so I have FFOs, winter houses. Yes, so winter houses, as I said, I jumped on the FOMO Instagram hashtag kind of bandwagon, and kind of what's inspired me a lot is I've just found Priscilla and Chelsea, and aren't they fabulous? And seeing all their way they finish stuff off really inspired me to want to get the Christmas ones done, because I love Christmas. I love decorating my house. I don't quite have Priscilla's 16 Christmas trees, but we do have 2, and I have lots of, and I love doing garlands and making Christmas decorations. I can't wait at Christmas to show you my handmade Christmas ornament collection, because I have nearly 100 handmade Christmas decorations. Not all made by me, but all handmade, and I have nearly 100 decorations. So, and I add to it every year, and I have friends who add to it every year, and it's lovely, and yay for Christmas. So, whoa, rabbit hole, Christmas. But I love some of their finishes. I forget the chart name, and I knew it yesterday, and I can't forget it now. It was, I think it's a Prairie Schooler. It was the something Willard and something Willard and Willard. I don't know, sorry. But it was how she'd finished that off, and I thought it was beautiful, and I love the idea of mounting it on the plaque. Not plaque. She used barn door. Mine will be plaque picked up from a local discount store and probably painted or something. And then put the swag around, and I just thought, I've got to do that, and I want to do that with my 12 days of Christmas. So, and I want to do something similar to how they've been finishing their Halloween projects with the houses. So I think the inspiration for FFOing them has spurred me on to get some projects done. So thank you, Priscilla and Chelsea. I'm going to link them below. Yay, Flosstube saying. I'll link other people. You'll know who they are, because that's probably how you found me, because I got my shout out from Cara, as I said, and so I'll link her below, but if you've come from there, you already know how to find her. I've also been watching Stitching List, she's new this week, and I've been watching Brummy Stitcher, who in geography terms is probably only up the road really, she's not that far from me, so I've been watching her and seeing all her Little House Needleworks, which are absolutely fabulous. And obviously Bendy Stitchy by McKenna, but Bendy Stitchy, love the show. She's so much fun, and I really look forward to her videos every week. So to everyone who I watch, keep up the good work, because you are all so inspiring, all in your own little ways. I could name check lots of Flosstubers who may have only said one or two little things that kind of, but make you think, yeah, that's me, and makes me feel more secure about my stitching. Little things like stitch on what you're comfortable. Don't stitch things, don't stitch things just because you think it's the trendy thing to stitch, or you gotta, if you don't love a design, it's okay to say, actually, I'm not going to finish this. And I had, coming into 2017, I had 3 or 4 projects that I was like about, and some of them were just smalls, and it was really, I think it was Jessie Marie who kind of went, I'm not going to stitch them, I don't like them anymore, I'm not going to stitch it, I'm not going to waste time stressing that they're in my whip pile, being that mine's only sort of 10 pieces in my whip pile, but I'm not going to stress if they're not finished. Hey, life's too short to stitch things you don't like. So thank you to all the Flosstubers out there, because it really is an amazing community to be part of. I showed you a couple of favourite finishes last week, and I'm going to show you some more, not so much finishes, a collection this week. So I'm just going to reach across the table. Behold my Biscorno collection. Now, it's normally in here slightly neater. I'm going to have to tuck my necklace in because it keeps banging on the bottom. Normally, this isn't going to work. My Biscorno collection. 48 Biscorno in here. 19 stitched by me. Actually, they're not all in here. There's a couple on the table, and as you can see, they're falling out. 19 stitched by me. The rest are gifts from friends. There's a few other little smalls in there, a couple of humbugs and whatnot. But I'll pick my, let's go for my favourite 5. Okay. I don't really like any of the ones I've stitched. I don't know why. I liked them at the time, not so keen on them now. Okay, this one. Lotus, 15-sided. What's it? Stitched with an anchor variegated thread. Can't remember the number now. I'm going to go for 1335. It's one I've used quite a lot over the time. Most of my Biscornos end up going as gifts. I've stitched 20. At one point I was stitching probably 20 to 30 a year. So, okay, this is another one I've done. That's upside down. It's a Dragon by Joan Elliott, I think it is actually, and I stitched this for my hubby's birthday. He loves his dragons, or wedding anniversary. Could be wedding anniversary. I did a lot of dragons for wedding anniversaries, so that's one of those. My kids have each had one. Lot had Hello Kitty. That was probably done quite a long time. It's done quite a long time with little Hello Kitty beads on it. And Tom dogs, loves his dogs. I've got a lot of black work ones that people have done over the years for me, because I really love my black work. So actually that one I did myself. Oh, January 2012, there we go. And then other ones that people have done for me, Christmas ones and just what's it ones. Sorry. And my other favourite ones, I'm just chucking there's Biscorno everywhere now. Other favourites, these 3, which are currently, actually I've just pulled them out of my autumn display from my friend's from Fabric Steph. Love them. I can't really see them, so but And that was my favourite because I love the colour. I love the fabric colours. Absolutely glorious. My colours completely. Just can't say enough about it. It's one of my favourite biscorners. And then there's this one. 15-sided, all stitched in variegated thread on hand-dyed fabric. It's amazing. And it even has a friend. Little baby one with beads on. Right. Oh. Those all back in the bowl. Ah, that's the first one I ever made. And it had two little friends, because it was intended for bag charm, scissor charm, something or other charm. So they all hung together like that, but I got annoyed with them and then put them in the biscornu bowl. Right. Ah yes. I told you I liked you saw two tiny ones. That's the first one I did. Not measures back. Well, there we go. That's how small it is. With my giraffe ruler. And I'm surprised, despite having done that 5, 6, 7 years ago, it's never been lost. How is a miracle? Right, so biscornu bowl. We've done the whips and the FFOs and the FOs and thank yous and the shout outs. What have we got next? Teeny tiny bit of teeny tiny bit of I have got stuff coming, but my jewellery stuff I haven't paid my invoice, to be honest. So that'll be in my next one and possibly in the October. So I'm all over the place with that. I haven't really ordered much, kind of because of going to the Hobbycraft show in November. I'm kind of trying to hold back. So I have had a couple of things though. I still blog a little bit and won a little competition on a blog. Yay, go me! Want to give away choose your own mirror. Not quite the lady's blog is Tiff Stitches, and I won a little competition. She said, here's a list of charts I'm giving away, pick 2. There were Nora's and mirrors and a couple of other but kind of like big charts kind of. So I picked Snowy Greenhouse because this has been I've never owned a mirror or a Nora, and I kind of would like to stitch one, but I'm not a fairies kind of mermaids kind of person, or some of these big ladies. I've never been that kind of stitcher, so I've looked through all of the available ones, but it was the houses that really kind of, yeah, what I'd love to stitch. So I picked this one. It's green. It's my favourite colour. Didn't take much choosing. It's all mostly in DMCs, with a couple of other, with some Krennics and Mill Hill and a Karen Water Lilies. So it should be reasonable to kit up. And I've probably got some blue fabric like that too. And my other option, with a little bit of help from Lot, See for Charlotte, which is one of Nora's Letters from Mermaids. It's all in crescent colours, never stitched in those before, so that'll be something new, but I love the lime green and yellow backgroundy one. I might sub out some of them for some DMC, just because I think there are a few patches where it's not, it's 3 or 4 stitches here, 3 or 4 stitches there, and I don't know, we'll have a look. I will look closely at the chart, but I'm not going to be honest, even though crescent colours, I've seen them for a couple of quid in the UK. There's 20 colours, so it's still a lot. For me, that's a lot of money. I know for some stitchers it's not so much of an issue, but for me it is. And if I'm only going to be stitching 10 colours where you're not going to see a huge amount of variation, because I did think, I know, so the lemon and lime black background is one colour, but I thought the corally bit in there was kind of leafy corally bit, was made up of maybe 1 or 2 different ones, but it's about 5. And I kind of think, well, surely the point of an over-dyed variegated kind of colour is that it's not just... I love the ones that have quite good colour changes. I'm I'm fairly indifferent to the ones that are still fairly solid colours. Crazy came yesterday. So here's the new issue. That was the cover chart. I think I might do the I said polar bears. I might do the penguin in the jumper, but stitch 2 and just switch up the colours a little bit, just to kind of extra ornaments for the tree. Might do one for my two small people. Right then. So yeah, we've got Big Tatty Teddy. Not a fan. Some Emma think it's Emma Congdon word Whatsits. Yep, Emma Congdon word Whatsits. Oh, crikey, I'm all over the place. There we go there. I like some of her designs, not all of them. Shannon Wassler Maiden, don't know if I've just said her name right. It's very, but there's one of those. I'm not really drawn to that either. As I said, I'm not really kind of a maideny kind of one. There are some beautiful ones out there, lots of them. But I'd be more inclined to maybe go for one of the Jones or something, the Joan Elliott ones, or a Mirror, if I was going to go down that route. And then, but there are quite a lot of smalls in here I like, so I will show you quickly something I like. I quite like the 50 gift ideas. They're quite sweet. There's a really nice coffee mug design, which I'm kind of feeling that way for maybe my Christmas tree this year. There's a quite nice little coffee mug with a sort of Scandi reindeer kind of thing on it, so I might go with that. Okay, what's we got? Usual must-haves, please buys. Where's Nora? Crazy does series. Crazy 4, and this week it's Cottages. This month's Cottages. Looks a bit familiar. It's very similar to the houses I'm doing now, so there's 7, and I quite like 2 or 3 of them. So, given that I still have half of that piece of brown burlappy linen-y fabric, I may well go with doing a couple more of those. Colour palette's a bit different. It's more sort of lime. It seems to be more. I haven't checked the colours, but I think it's more bright greens. There's some sort of tealy, turquoisey, duck egg blue kind of colour, the corally red rather than a darker red. So I might use the colours that were in the other houses and maybe do 3 again in a row in a similar style next year. Won't be done this year. But I'll probably keep, what I'll do is I'll pop the colours, because I mean this one's got 14 colours, I think the other one's 6 or 7. So, but each design probably only has 6 colours in it, so I'll use the colours from the previous to kind of coordinate a bit better. That's the word I was looking for. What else we got? Little stained glass windowy ones. I like the 3 kings, and then the next page it has the little nativity. I quite like that one too. We'll probably do it on blue fabric. Life's too short to stitch the background, but they're quite quick. Quite liked the bunting too. I'm not sure I would stitch it. I like the design. Would I stitch it? Maybe, maybe not. But might possibly stitch it into something else, or make them smaller and just do one on a tree. Look like in the look of next month though. So next month we have got chalkboard, other stuff on black. Probably ought to get some black fabric for my stash, I think. I quite like those. But something that, if it's as nice as it seems in the little thing, may well jump into my Christmas stitching this year because it's really pretty, and that's Joy. So I'm looking forward to next month. So roll on the end of October for those. Right. Oh, and whilst I was fiddling with my phone trying to get some more memory, in wake of the Thread Heaven disaster, bought myself some beeswax. I figured I've used Thread Heaven in the past. I haven't got any at the moment. If I'm not going to go out and panic buy Thread Heaven, just not that bothered. But if beeswax, which I hear other people have recommended, makes a really good substitute, then this bar, which is quite big, you can see, cost 99p. So I'm willing to, 3-person pack as well, and it's coming in a couple of 3 days. I'm thinking, that's right, I'm going to go down that route. I'm happy to use a substitute. I'm not going to, you know, if it does the job, then it's good enough. So, and I've heard people say they prefer it because it doesn't leave residue like thread headland, like little white bits and stuff. So we'll go with that. Right. Where am I at? Okay, so just a couple of little things. I told you last time that I have a patchwork quilt on the go. I am better with a chart than I am a pattern, let's say. So, I have been hand stitching a paper piece to patchwork quilt. These are 2-inch hexagons, all fabric scraps that either I bought as fabric scraps or in a frat quarter or an off-cut remnant, or that people have given to me. And I've just realised that how muffly that was when I was speaking behind my quilt. There's no pattern to it. I try and sort of work the colours a little bit, but it's not overly done. So this measure, it's quite small at the moment. It measures about 80 centimetres square roughly, but it's a labour of love, and it's that thing I pull out. I'll put a couple of squares in now, put it away, bring it out again a few months later. I don't dedicate a huge amount of time to it. I've been given lots of the scraps, so it's kind of, I love that it's from lots of people, and I can pinpoint and go, oh yeah, that's specifically that one. Oh, and even if it's a scrap that somebody else has given me, there might be a story behind it, and I know the story. So, you know, I can tell you that, okay, let's have a look. Vintage Liberty fabric that was in a friend's nan's skirt. Just saw it and I've lost it again. Okay. James the Red Engine, because my son, when he was growing up, loved Thomas the Tank Engine. Beach huts. I love beach huts. Irises, one of my favourite flowers. Okay, let's have a quick look. Lots of pretty sort of oriental prints and things like that. There's silly things. There's gnomes and monkeys, and there's various fabricy ones I like just because of the colour. There's some vintage somewhere in here. There's vintage Laura Ashley, and I can't find it at the moment. Nope, can't see it, but this is vintage Laura Ashley fabric. Pansies for Cara. There we go. Pansies. There's 2 or 3 pieces. I really like that fabric actually. That was a grab bag scrap piece. I think that's one of the Laura Ashley ones. I could be wrong. Because I've got it. I had somebody given me some fabric swatches from the 70s, and I know it's from the 70s because the selvage had a date on it written in Roman numerals. So bits got put in, but they were dark blue, dark green. There was a burgundy one. Can't see, but I can't see it in here. But then it's in here. There's batik print, which I really love. I can't really see them very well. But if I quickly jump up, there's giraffes in here. Love my giraffes. There's a piece in here from my friend's wedding. She did favours, kind of like jam jars with the fabric on the top, and that's in here. So that's what it's like at the moment. It's just a riot of colour. So let's see if I can see the jam jar one quickly. I know it's somewhere near on one of the borders. So there we go. So there we go. That piece came from my friend's wedding. So I just love that there are stories behind all of these. Right, plans. FFO, a couple more of those drawn thread things. Put away the biscornu, that's a task and a half. They live in this big bowl, all year round and sit on my windowsill on my lounge. So I shall finish the little houses, the Christmas houses. Plum Street samplers will be coming out on Sunday, so I can do the Santa Sundays on Instagram. I'm on Instagram. I'm Kerry_in_stitches. So come and find me. I'll put everything below, the lot of it. I'm going to go back to the houses for a couple of weeks. I haven't started Elizabeth Shepherd. I wanted to start that. That was kind of my last September thing that I wanted to do. But I'm waiting on some Fraychet to come. That's ordered. It should be here in the next couple of days. So even if I get a stitch in, I've started it. So there we go. Just looking down my lists again. Yeah, that's pretty much all I've got planned for. My blog is Opulent October, so I'm intending to do just little bits. I don't stitch much blinky stuff. I haven't started the Noras yet, so I think it'll be, there's lots of things that need a couple of beads here, and so there's a handful of beads on the Christmas ones in place of French knots for like on the snowman, because I want to do like coal, so I should use some petites, and on the Christmas tree, and there should be odd cross stitches for snow coming down. Yeah, that's going to be beads, but just because I think it just gives it a little bit more. What else have I got? Opulent October. There are one or two of the beaded kits I have. I don't have any of the Mill Hill kits. I've done the one I had. To be honest, I found that a bit traumatic. I love beading, it doesn't bother me at all. I just found the Mill Hill ones a bit traumatic. I don't mind stitching on the perforated paper either, but maybe it was the design. There's a couple that I quite like, but I'd like to do a couple of the Christmas ornaments or something Christmassy. I haven't found something yet that I want to do, so when I do, it's got to be that's going to be a perfect kit rather than a yeah, it's alright kind of thing. I'm looking across my table of stuff to see if there's anything else that I've missed, but I don't think so. So that's everything for this fortnight. So I shall be back in a couple of weeks' time with what I've managed to achieve in that 2 weeks. So thanks all for watching. I'll link everything below. There are two people, I don't know whether I shouted out, when you've done the video 4 times you forget what you've said. So there's a couple of other newbies that I'm hoping that I've mentioned, Stitching Lists and April, May, June, Brummy Stitcher. So go and watch them, they're new, they need all the love. Like me, tell your friends, recommend me. So yeah, happy stitching friends, and I will see you in a couple of weeks. Bye bye.